For all the latest reviews, interviews, and everything entertainment in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and Telugu, subscribe to Film Companion South now.
Hi Danish, I am Kairam Vaashi. Welcome to Film Companion South.
Thank you very much, Kairam, for the very warm welcome. And I must say that Film Companion has been incredibly supportive. And I think in the indie movement that I am a part of, I think it's platforms like Film Companion that really help us get the word out there. So thanks for taking your time out to talk to me.
No, thoroughly my pleasure. So I'm going to start with a question that you may perhaps have faced a lot. And this is what Wikipedia has to say about you. Danish Sait is an Indian stand-up comedian, television host, radio jockey, actor, and writer who works in Kannada cinema. So, because I have this opportunity to talk to you live, you tell me, who is Danish Sait?
Well, to begin with, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I have never done stand-up comedy. In India, it's really hard to tell the distinction between a comedy actor, somebody who uses comedy as a tool to tell a story or to make content, versus somebody who does stand-up comedy. These are very different things. So I don't do stand-up. I'm a content creator. Irrespective of the platform you put me on, whether it's 1-minute videos on Instagram or if it's an 80-minute film that's coming out on Amazon Prime Video in the next couple of days, I enjoy making content. And personally, I like using the tool of comedy because you can say a lot and get away with a lot.
But can you really get away with a lot these days?
I think you can.
Even under the mask of comedy?
I think you can. I mean, I just, I'm coming right at the back of a political satire, which hasn't gotten into any trouble. And even with One Cut, Two Cut that's scheduled to release now, there is an undertone of social commentary in it. When I say we, I mean the teams that I work with, we've come out unscathed at the other end of it. And I think that's because to a great extent, while we're sitting and writing and while we're sitting and working on something, we're very cognizant of lines that are in our own head. Now, these might be right, these might be wrong, because the thing with comedy is the line can get pulled back at any point. I've just realized the only way to navigate around it is to be humble, apologize, and move on to whatever is next.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Wise words, I would say. I sort of expected that answer from you as to who you are, and that is a content creator, an entertainer, let us say, right? Or a content creator itself. And you said, depending on whichever platform you're put into, you will still continue to do the same, which is content creation. But how do you choose the medium to present your content on?
To be honest with you, Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and so on and so forth has been a part of my sort of career now for the last 10, 11 years. Right from the time I used to upload my prank calls on SoundCloud and then distribute them through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. From there, of course, cricket happened through RCB, and I started doing content again on YouTube, and I spent a lot of time on social media platforms. So I wouldn't claim I understand it, and that's something that comes naturally to me, because even there's an attempt every single day to do something that's new and has viability to be watched, shared, so on and so forth. But when it comes to films, I've never limited myself to think that I'm only restricted to a particular place. I think I do have people around me, the belief system in me for people to invest and say, okay, fine. For a guy who puts out content for free every single day or every other day, are people willing to pay money and come and watch something that is just a grander, bigger version of what I do on Instagram? And I think I've been very lucky in that sense, because when I look back at my career now, I'm going to be 3 films old. I have a series to my credit. I have countless minutes of content on the internet. And people see the distinction just as easy as I see the distinction.
Okay. So, in fact, I do have a lot of questions around that single point, which I'll get to as we go along. Instagram and all of the social media platforms, apart from YouTube, let's say, especially what you do for RCB, which
Right.
I'm absolutely certain is a paid engagement. But
Right.
for everything that you do, like you said, for free, is that part of your career in the sense that it's a brand building exercise or a an exercise to gather a lot
Yeah.
more followers and viewers?
It is. It is. It's an investment.
Got it.
I'm very aware of what I'm investing in. As a result of which, if you look at my Instagram videos, every prop that I use is stuff that's just lying around at home. Because I think when you're making content yourself, you've got to make it in as little as possible, because it reaches out to a wider audience. You kind of build a community around what you do. And then when you go and make a film or a series or whatever, again, mind you, it's not like I'm working on big investments there. I started off saying I'm an indie film baby, or I'm a part of this indie film movement that's there, because I'm very cognizant of making films, and I think it's a real privilege to make a film or a series. So we work around very tight budgets, and as a result of which, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've had 3 films come out on Amazon Prime Video, a series on another platform, and this is because people have sort of looked beyond vanity and said, let's kind of invest in the content that he's putting up.
Right.
Because there is an audience for it.
But here comes a serious question. How important is it for Danish to focus on one medium?
Yeah. I've never thought about it, because if you go to think about it,
or is this the day and time where a
we live in
content
a time
creator?
of that. No, you're right. We live in times like that. And also, to give you a sort of understanding, Kairam, I've always dabbled with things. When I did radio, I did events. When I did events, I went and shot for something. When I did Instagram content, I did a film. When I did a film, I did cricket. To give you a basic understanding.
And it has, sorry to interrupt, and it has never led you to an identity crisis as to who you are, because I think right from then when you clear, you're a content creator regardless of the platform.
Yeah. Always. While I'm doing RCB, I'm creating content for RCB. It's work for hire. When I go and do something at the World Cup with ICC, it is work for hire. When I work with PRK Productions, it's work for hire. And I'm happy to just be there doing these things, because I also feel like we live in an age and time where you've got to be able to multitask. I'll give you a great example of this. And I think I drew a lot from the advice I got from Mr. Puneet Rajkumar when my first film ever came out. He said, don't get caught up in the illusion of being an actor, do what you do. And I think a lot of it was to reinforce the fact in me that, I don't think I can live a solitary career. I can't. It'll drive me nuts if I have to sit down at home and wait for scripts to come, or wait for directors to reach out to me and say, hey, would you like to do this film? Can we read an idea to you? It would drive me nuts. It would drive me nuts, because when you've kind of built your entire career and life around, okay, if it's not coming, I will create the opportunity myself, find able partners and move ahead. Then the idea of waiting is a little sort of difficult to fathom and kind of wrap your head around. So I prefer kind of actioning it myself and then going through the same process again.
Sure.
But I've always found it easier to kind of find able partners to invest in me.
No, that's fantastic. But is there a downside to this? What I mean by that is, or would you say today is not the time where we will look at traditional superstars?
I think there's a place for both. The traditional superstars are extremely important. And it's them who keep like a industry running at that scale. And it's the money they make that they invest in people like us. Let's be very honest. And I'm very cognizant of that. For example, Mr. Puneet Rajkumar, with all the wonderful films he did and being this superstar, he invested and gave back to people like us. And I'm going to be very grateful to him for that for the rest of my life. And I think in my own head, being a traditional superstar, I can't kind of wrap my head around it because I'm a foot soldier. You know what I mean? I like the hustle. I enjoy the grind of going out there, talking to 20 people, getting investments, going back to the script, coming back to them, seeing it right through distribution, being a part of that again. I enjoy it. And I mean, is there an identity crisis? Not at all, because I've never wanted to be that traditional superstar. I've always wanted to be a guy who puts content out there, and any given day, would I prefer to be in an airport look on Instagram, or would I prefer to be there for my content? Any day for my content. I'm very clear about that, because I think that this, I don't intend to do this for the rest of my life. I look at it as a pure play business model where I'm working, I'm generating income to keep my family happy, to keep myself happy. The day I'm done, the day I think I have enough, or the day I think I don't have anything more to offer, I will walk away for sure. I have no attachments to this. I'm being very honest about it.
That's excellent, and that actually lends itself as a segue to my next question. So typically, let's say in an IT company, every employee has a set of deliverables, and based on how well they deliver, they are rewarded with hikes, promotions, and the like.
Yeah.
So what are your deliverables, and what would you consider a promotion?
Just reaching a point today where, if it's about films, right? And I'll break it down segment by segment for you.
Yes.
Let's assume films as a vertical. Today, if I can secure a funding and have somebody to distribute my film, like an Amazon Prime Video, for me, that is a promotion from where I started to where I am today. And that's all I want. I don't want anything more. I want somebody to be able to invest in the idea that I have, and then for somebody to distribute it. Have I sorted those two ends? I'm very happy. That makes me happy. That's a promotion. Now,
and as far as films are concerned, you will live by that. There's nothing beyond that which you're looking for.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's very subjective, right? I mean, I've not been somebody who wants to be on a mass selling product as a brand ambassador. That's how far you get with it. That's literally how far you get with it. Or you have like armies and fan pages and so on and so forth, which, honest to God, I mean, when I think about it from my perspective, I'm like, everybody's got their own life to live. I'm doing my content. Come take some time out, watch my content, leave. That's it. I'm going to be very grateful to you for that.
Aren't you underselling yourself? Because I did watch a couple of your Kannada interviews, and your Kannada is absolutely consumable for a Kannada audience as well. Because you have multiple things that you do, and like you said, you dabble with a lot of things. Is it a conscious choice that you have made that, hey, I will have only certain expectations of my film career? Or is it because of anything, any other reason that perhaps you think, hey, this is the only market that I will cater to ever? So what is going on there?
I think the expectations for my film career are very crystal clear. To be honest with you, I wanted to do a film when I was growing up, and I've done 4 now. So I've already kind of overextended that lease. And I'm very grateful to the opportunities that I've got. That's one.
But having done 4, hasn't it led you to?
Correct. But my question is, what is the other aspiration that I can have? Is it, look, if the idea is to be, what is it? Does it just mean investments become bigger in the films that I do? Sure. Why not? But what am I going to do with the money? I don't want the money.
No, but every artist is about the number of people who watch him or her, right? So
eventually goes down to economics, right? I mean, it eventually is down to business. That's all it is. Because you need to understand that I have not looked at my own career as piece of art that is got to grow, and I've not looked at it that way. At the end of the day, it's down to trade and economics, because you need to understand that I started off in radio, so I started off in a very streamlined entertainment business platform. It didn't matter how good your creative was, or how much you made it creatively. At the end of the day, you got a salary at the end of the month.
Right.
right? And then it was the internet that kind of propelled me to go out there and reach more people, and people started calling me for corporate events. I went and hosted a bunch of them. Like today, I can't drive past somewhere in Whitefield or around ITPL without pointing at the board and saying I've done a show for this company. Right from there to be at this point where today I can proudly say that Amazon Prime Video, we were the first Kannada film on it.
Right.
Would Select, we are the first Kannada series on it, or for any major platform, right? And we've managed to do this with like-minded people who just want to work and treat this as a job. I mean, there is no bells and whistles around it, not even in our head or around our families.
And all of those corporate gigs were not with any particular destination in mind. Okay.
The
Okay.
destination was MG Road Axis Bank. Now, to make it simple, I'll tell you, I'm not underselling myself or I'm not underplaying it or whatever. Look, I think respect is something that you command and you can't demand. Credit and merit is something that's given to you versus you taking claim of it. And I'd like to believe in my own space where I look at it. I think in the last 10, 11 years that I've spent in the entertainment business, I can't think of other content creators who've gone on to make films. I'm at literally the forefront of that.
Sure.
And it's a great feeling. It's a
Sure.
feeling. But does the celebration kind of cross my heart, get to my head, and then is it projecting onto people? It's not. I look at it and I go, okay, fine. This is a profession. This is why I'm here. There is a certain amount of time that I have because the internet is changing at knots. Content creators keep getting fresher by the day.
Right.
There is a certain amount of time that I have here. After this, what is there? Is there life beyond this? And to be honest with you, for me, I look at life beyond my career. So for me, like right now is about, am I enjoying what I'm doing? I am. Am I making great friends along the way? I am. Is it something that I want to, flog myself like a dead horse and keep working till I'm 50, 60? I don't want to. Yeah, I really don't want to.
Right. So before I bring you back to the actual question I started off with,
Sure.
Beyond your career, are you saying, hey, I want to hang up my boots as soon as possible and enjoy life? Or are you saying, hey, I don't know what my career's direction is next going to be, and I'll take it as it comes?
No, not really. I would like to retire at some point.
Okay.
I think if sports can have retirement, if corporate careers can have retirement, because then you're not relevant. You're just being present after one point, especially for someone like me. Because also, I mean, Kairam, I'll be very honest with you. When you've gone through this for 11 years, where every morning you wake up and you're hustling to kind of even today, the hustle is real. I got to wake up and I got to take claim for a piece of the pie. I have to sit down and explain to people why I deserve it more than somebody else.
Right.
And this is an everyday fight. And I don't want to live my life like this, for the next 30 years of my life. I enjoy what I do for today. It's fun. I have the energy. I have the right friends. I have people who are sweet and kind enough to kind of invest in me. And I'm very happy to go with that flow, put content out there, because I feel at some level, if I bracket myself or if I block myself into one of these places as well, it'll be the end of me. Because I like being sort of here, disconnect, go here, disconnect, move to the next place, disconnect, come back again if I have to. And that's broadly my life, because if you think about it, this year, 3 months of my life go with IPL. 2 months of my life go with the World Cup. 5 months are done. I have 7 months to fill up. Now, if I look at myself as a business entity, I'm like, okay, in these 7 months, how can I optimize this? I optimize it. It's very clear.
Lovely. Excellent. I'm sure a lot of people who absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people who watch this interview have some great takeaways from this one, from just what you said now.
You look at the superstars who've been there. I don't think any superstar, and I say this with a lot of respect, no superstar has just walked out of his house and become a superstar.
Correct.
They've been around for 2 decades, 3 decades. You look at anyone, they've all been around for 3 decades, 2 decades, and they've worked extremely hard. Also, at their point, whenever they started out, internet wasn't such a thing. Maybe they could have been great content creators.
Right.
Maybe.
No, but the stark difference which you already addressed is, let's take Mr. Sudeep or Mr. Darshan for example.
Yeah.
I think they set out on the journey to become that superstar, right? Whereas you are saying, hey, that's not my
I don't
destination.
know, but right now you and I don't know that. I mean,
Correct.
my guess is as
Sure.
good as yours.
Sure.
But I have mad respect for them because, man, to be at that level and to keep shining after so many years, whew, it's unbelievable. And I don't think I have it in me to be that. I don't. I'm very clear about it because you look at who are my heroes growing up, right? My heroes growing up was Cyrus Brocha, Cyrus
Right.
Sahukar, Gaurav
Right.
Kapoor,
Right.
Purab, because MTV or Channel V was my YouTube at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you look at their careers and you look at where my heroes have gone, right? Like people I looked up to have gone as far as doing cricket for 6 months, a year, and then chilling.
Absolutely.
That's what they do. So for me, it was not like my first sort of point of reference for what I was doing was a superstar. It was never that.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
my thought process is also not to that. But I think that people like, like you mentioned, Sudeep sir or Mr. Darshan, it takes a different level of hard work to sustain it.
Right.
I'll give you a fantastic story. There used to be a channel called SS Music.
Yes.
Southern Spice.
Southern
Music.
Spice.
Right. And I had gone for a VJ hunt there. And this is when I was in college.
Okay.
I got selected in the top 5. The contracts had to be signed and I was supposed to move to Chennai to pursue TV as a VJ. And I was all set to do it. And there was a video jockey there called Craig Galeo. I don't know if you remember Craig.
Yeah, I know.
Craig took my mom's number and called her and said, Auntie, he's not signing the contract. And my mother said, sure, I mean, I'm with you because I want him to finish his graduation. And he said, that's not even the problem because he needs to understand the sooner he peaks, the more harder it's going to be for him to sustain.
Right.
Let him finish education, run through life, and then at some point take a career and peak later in life because it is easier to sustain it for a shorter time than to kind of peak and then sustain it for a longer time. The peak is the problem. You get there and you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Excellent. Got it. Now coming closer to One Cut, Two Cut, be it in the Humble Politician film and series, French Biryani, or the latest One Cut, Two Cut, you are sort of reprising characters that you created and made popular.
Yeah.
Now, if that is correct, that said, how much of an opportunity do you get to explore the actor in you?
With One Cut, Two Cut, you'll certainly see that I have really explored the idea of being an actor. With Humble Politician Nagaraj, I know it's people look at it and go, it's second nature to him. Nobody else has played it, but they say it's second nature to him, which may be true, which may not be true, right? I wouldn't want to debate somebody's thoughts or ideas on what I do. Everybody is entitled to an opinion, but I can tell you with One Cut, Two Cut, I have had an opportunity to explore it because it's a far more understated and real character as compared to a Nagaraj, which is either way spreading in that zone of, slapstick and physical and line humor. Gopi is more understated as just a personality. And to be honest with you, when I write a film with my friends and then we go out there and look for funding, the reason why I end up playing my own characters is because we're trying to cater to strengths that revolve around me. I have no qualms in accepting that. Yes, we're playing to strengths. Yes, we're trying to make a product that we are sure of that will run and fly. We're trying to make a product that people can easily relate to and have already sort of accepted at some level through the internet. and we believe that with the bells and whistles around it, it's simple, right? You can buy a ground plus 3-story apartment with no swimming pool and sauna and gym, and live happily because it's home. Or you can buy something that has water fountains and swimming pools and juice bars and all that rubbish, right? Which you get these days. You can buy either. And I think we've gone with the ground plus 3, no amenities kind of apartment, which we're very happy with. I don't know why I'm using a real estate analogy, but just taking it down.
No. It's all because of the Axis Bank account in MG Road. That's where the real estate is coming from.
No, I can tell you there's not a lot there. But what I'm saying is that it's very clear that why we're doing a film. We're doing a film because there's an opportunity at hand. And unfortunately or fortunately, with somebody like me, I will always be the underdog. And I'm aware the investment isn't going to come easy. The trailer needs to look a certain way. It has to appeal to a certain thing. Like I'll give you an example, right? When I look at other films' promotions, the actors are doing actor things, right? Like, I don't know why I do this, but whatever, right? They're doing like whatever, check my film out, and they're sitting down by the TV with Prime Video at the back there, and like, hey, this is my film. But in my case, I have to make content before the film, after the film also, as the character. I have to make Instagram content to again sell the film. You know what I mean? Like you get the difference. Like if I'm Nagraj, I have to do 20 videos as Nagraj for me to be able to sell 10 episodes of Nagraj. If I'm playing Asghar, I got to do 20 videos as Asghar before I can sell one film as Asghar. So it's a very different model, and I'm aware of the space that we're in.
So for One Cut, Two Cut as well, along with the director Vamshidhar, who has collaborated with you earlier as well, did you also take part in writing this film?
I do. Yeah, I do. With One Cut, Two Cut, I did.
Because it has a fantastic premise of
adventure
of this school where you are the art and craft teacher, being taken hostage by social media activists.
Yeah, it's adventure comedy, and we wanted to do something different. Look, the only film that I haven't written till date is French Biryani. The only film.
Okay.
I wasn't at the writing table at all. I had no idea what was going on, and I treated it like a quintessential actor would.
Got it.
Just wake up in the morning, go to the set, not be worried about anything else. If anybody else is happy, sad. No, I was actor. I went there, did my job, I came back. Sure. But with these films, you're involved at a sort of more close level because, we're writing the story. We're going to PRK productions. We're getting feedback real time. We're coming back. We're again ripping it all apart and looking at how we can incorporate things for it to be sort of palatable to a lot of other people around us, the other stakeholders. So it's an interesting process, and it was great writing this with Vamsi because I remember I was sitting at home and we wanted to do something with Gopi, and it's interesting because we actually did an internet video whilst I was in Dubai during IPL, where Gopi was a guy who wanted to get married.
Correct.
And we knew that we put out an email ID saying, if you really like me, please write to me on gopisandcool@gmail.com.
Right.
And we had like some 700 emails in 5 hours, which is insane, right? For an internet character. Like till date, I see people from like Brazil and other places sharing that video on Facebook or tagging their friends saying, would this guy interest you? So we realized we had to make a film, and we didn't know what situation to put this guy in or what profession to give to him. Because once you gift him a profession and put him in a world, then you can sort of develop and build something around it. And we married the two worlds. I called Vamsi. I said, bro, you remember there used to be this guy who would come with arts and crafts papers and a scissors and all of that stuff to school. They used to sell it for 15 rupees a kit. And they would come to Frank Anthony Public School very often. That's where I did my junior schooling. So I told him, you remember this guy? And Vamsi said, yeah, I remember the guy. And I said, we should make Gopi that guy. Now let's write around it. And then we started building this world. And it's an interesting genre that we've explored because adventure comedy is not something that comes by too often. And the fact that we've managed to put it together and have a great cast, a great crew, very excited.
No, absolutely. And especially with the combination that it's both rooted and contemporary in a way. Like the school seems extremely rooted and sort of dilapidated and all of that. But then you have these social media activists coming in and taking it hostage. Fantastic. So finally, is it okay if I give you one feedback?
Sure.
And you have sort of addressed this, but I still want to hear it for one last time, because the way you look at your career, what you're doing today and what you've done in the past, I think it's very pragmatic. So I'll still put this across and see what you have to say. So frankly, I'm someone who watches without fail Mr. Nags's press meet after every RCB match. Even if I don't watch the match, I've stopped watching cricket for a long time, but I do make it a point to watch Mr. Nags's press meet. However, me being someone who mostly watches Kannada films, I'm not necessarily dying to watch Danish's film on day one.
Right.
And you would agree that there would be a few people who think alike. So
Yeah.
what do you have to say about this, or tell people like me?
I wouldn't want anybody to feel compelled to watch the work that I put out there. And this is irrespective of the platform. But I would appreciate it if you could take some time out to watch my film. Now, whether you watch it the moment it drops or whether you watch it 2 days later, absolutely.
That doesn't matter to you.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. Because let's be very honest, right? What this has done, a mobile phone or streaming platforms, they've made content accessible and discoverable to your convenience, which is exactly why, Kairam, I don't do movies that necessarily release in theaters.
Right.
I don't want to make an appointment with you, right? I want it to be the way I would watch a film, which is whenever I feel like it, I want to tune in and watch it. How seriously you watch it or how much you just watch it to enjoy it. That is something that's not in my control. But I'm very mindful and respectful of the fact that people watch it at their convenience.
Sure.
Because I'm not somebody, even in my real life, who would ever enforce myself upon someone or come across too sort of hard on them to say, you got to do this. Because I think that the only part of this which is in my control is the content that I make.
Right.
That's it, full stop.
Yeah.
After that, it is up to the audience to watch it, not watch it, pick faults, not pick faults. It's up to them. And I'm very aware of this process.
Sure.
Also, what I don't know what the frenzy around it is. Like, for example, today when I put out a video on Instagram, for example, to answer your question, 6 lakh people watch a video that I put out on Instagram, which is a lot more than I'm sure a lot of actors would get to watch their own films.
Yeah.
I put a film as well. I would like to believe that whether it is on the day one of the release or whether it is in time, people watch it, because there is a reason why platforms like an Amazon Prime Video, or I mentioned another platform earlier, there is a reason why they end up picking content that I'm a part of.
Right.
That means the numbers are ringing. Trade. Nobody is going to invest in a unvalued proposition, right?
Absolutely.
There is some value that I bring. I don't know what the value is. Either they're being kind to me, and maybe this is the Truman Show where one day I wake up and everybody's lying. This interview is a lie. I don't know. But whatever it is, I know one thing, that I will wake up every morning and do what I have to do very earnestly, very sincerely, and just hope to kind of grow from one to the other. I think this process of growing and learning is every day.
Absolutely. That's definitely an answer that I will take. And may your popularity and may the audience acceptance also grow day after day. And I am definitely looking forward to One Cut, Two Cut. Like I said, the trailer is excellent and the premise even more. So
are you going to watch it on day one, or are you going to watch it day one, or are you going to let it pass?
No, this shall be the game changer. So I will watch it on day one, which I think is 3rd of Feb, coming out on Amazon.
It's the most different thing I've done so far. I'm fully aware. Like, I'm very aware it's the most different thing I've done so far. Like, Nagraj was loud. You just knew it's going to be joke. French biryani was just joke. You just knew it.
Correct.
And then there's one cut, two cut, which is only my third film, by the way, that's coming out
Right.
anyway, which means there is
Right.
some, what do you say, in the Venn diagram of content and entertainment, I'm getting to the middle, I'm getting there.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I've been around for so long, people can turn around and immediately look at sort of do this, do it in this manner. But give me time, no? I mean, the movies is still my third film. I'm
No,
getting there.
absolutely. I'm very conscious of that. And that is why I sort of harped on that point where you are saying, I don't know when this particular film journey will, end or where it will end or not. Because
Yeah.
I think you still have a long way to go and a lot more possibilities to explore.
Yes, and that's the endeavor. I'm telling you, the next couple of stories that we're working on, I'm telling you, I'm stepping out of my own zone because you also, Kairam, there's a couple of things, right? Sorry, I'm just going to take a minute or two because this is one of the most interesting conversations I've had in all these days of doing these PR interviews. It's genuinely one of the most exciting ones I've done. Look, what happens is when you're investing in me, and I'm saying this about producers that I've worked with, they're usually banking on my strengths because at some level they're like, okay, we will invest in you, but we need the return.
Correct.
And I got to do things that are to my strength. Now imagine tomorrow I end up making a film where I'm sitting in a tweed coat on a couch and I'm playing a psychologist, because I've gone through therapy enough times. I've gone through, I continue to be on antidepressants. If I just make a film about my experiences around depression, people are going to run in the other direction. People are going to be like, Jesus, what happened to him? Am I right? I don't know how many people are just going to sit down and go like, wow, yeah, what a switch from here to there.
Yeah, while the expectations are high, the audience may not be even kind enough or generous enough to accept experimentation.
And I'm slowly making that difference. I'm slowly
gradually
moving the other. It has to happen that way, right?
Yeah.
Because there is something that's been watched for the last 10 years. For the last 10 years, you tuned in 1 minute, was my prank call, 90 seconds. You went bang, 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 and you heard a joke every minute. Like every 10 seconds, there was a joke. There were 13 laughs in one, in a 1.5 minute call. Then it went to Mr. Next, which was 3.5 minutes, and every 30 seconds there was a joke.
Right.
Then you went to movies and you were like, I want jokes, I want funny. And like, yeah, sure, take funny, right? So, if you think about it from my perspective with what I'm doing, I wish I was in a place where people were offering me films and I could choose and have the luxury to do different ideas. Here, sometimes we're running with what works because I'm fighting two things. I'm fighting commercial viability. I need to be commercially viable and I need to drive value back to my producers. The last thing I want to do is to make a film that me and my director sit down, arm in arm and say, wow, what a film we've made. And nobody else is watching it. And my producer is tearing his hair off saying, where is the money? Right. So it's two battles. One is I got to find, I'm slowly making that change. I assure you, you'll see me doing absolute story-driven films where the film is not only on my shoulders or the character's shoulder that I'm playing. I'm aware. I'm very aware of this. So it's going to be very interesting the next couple of years because we do have ideas that are beyond the character that I'm playing and beyond the shoulders of that character.
Sure. No, one thing that will become very evident to anyone watching this interview and to me as well is that you are extremely practical, pragmatic, and self-aware. And I'm already excited that you are working on two more ideas. And like you said, that transition will be gradual and looking forward to what that transition will lead to. Good luck for One Cut, Two Cut coming out.
Thank you very much. So thank you. It's a pleasure speaking with you and I hope to meet you sometime in the real world. I think it'll be great to sit down and have a chat with you.
No, absolutely. Thank you for your kindness and thanks for the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.